merits is really going to have a big part of the dynamic between Dabuz and WaDi.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. I don't think we're going to see Town and City, for example, because WaDi's going to ban that like frame 1. Oh, wait, he's going Rob? This is weird.
All right.
I mean, far be it from my place to criticize the decisions of players of this level. They obviously know a lot more than I do. But if I were WaDi, I would have started Mewtwo. But then again, you know, from their past history, he's probably lost with Mewtwo quite a few times. He's like, all right, I got to try something new here.
Now, this is very unusual that you bring it up. However, it's worth mentioning that we had seen this fight take place last night. And we were all questioning, why not the Mewtwo? Mewtwo having...
Oh, he did this yesterday.
He did, and we couldn't figure out if this is a comfort pick, if this is some sort of counterplay to how Dabuz understands fighting WaDi, or if this is something that WaDi typically does against Rosalina players, but we saw that it presented a good amount of pressure against Dabuz, and while Dabuz did manage to come out on top last night, maybe it's going to be a different story today.
So he didn't even try Mewtwo at all?
He did try. We saw it for one game, and it looked close. Dabuz took the W for that one game, but WaDi instead opted for the Rob, and he opted for it through the remainder of, I believe it was Winners Finals and Grand Finals of last night's AON. But
very interesting.
This is looking very similar to last night's showing. WaDi managing to take the first blood of Grand Finals here, and not really being dissuaded by all the tools that Dabuz has to eliminate the projectile pressure that we've seen WaDi exhibit.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to see WaDi go for a little bit more of a hand-to-hand combat style, knowing that Rosalina and Luma are so good at getting rid of projectiles. So that's what makes this particularly interesting to me, is that, you know, Rob is a zoning-based character, and being that that style is shut out, or at least heavily countered by Rosalina, I'm not sure what his rationale is. And if you're looking for hand-to-hand combat, Mewtwo does a much better job of that. However, WaDi is doing just fine so far. 2 minutes in, hasn't even lost a stock. Not a gigantic lead, but still a lead nonetheless. He's up a stock. He just has to avoid kill moves as long as he possibly can while tacking on that chip damage, whether it be with projectiles or some stray hits. But 21 is going to be the end of his extra credit run.
And they're just going to go Luma, and I feel like eliminating Luma isn't going to be that big of a factor towards WaDi, just because Rosalina herself has plenty of tools for being able to move in and pressure Rob. Up smash being one of them that we're already seeing Dabuz make the most of.
And dash attack.
Dash attack just to scoop him into the air and put him in prime position for juggling and further mispositioning on the stage.
Yeah, like even solo Rosalina's dash attack, it has 2 hits, and she dips real low. It's got a weird hitbox, but a very solid one. I feel like that's probably her most dangerous solo move. Up smash, I would say, is also right up there. So we saw a decent amount of that from Dabuz. Could, you know, prevent landings from WaDi and stuff, but he is still hanging on to his lead. Again, just about 20%. Oh, and he's sandwiched. He has to take the hit, yeah. It's either take the hit or get your shield broken.
And you certainly don't want that done, especially with the percentages sitting and how far they are off the stage.
Dabuz, though, scouting these rolls into the center of the stage. Again, a pretty common panic or habit option for a lot of players. WaDi falling victim to that, but, I mean, someone of the caliber of Dabuz is going to be ready for that.
And it's going to be Luma's back air that's going to take that game.
Did you see Dabuz's face? Like, man, why are you even doing this to me? Why are you trying, Rob?
He's just looking...
He looks so displeased.
This is just another day in the office for Dabuz, but he's looking like he wants more of a challenge.
Bro, my lip reading might need some work, but I swear he just said no bans.
Bruh.
If he actually said that, I'm so mad. I don't think he did. I'm probably just off. But that's hilarious.
Oh, we got Senpai coming in for the support on WaDi, trying to calm him down.
Wow, alright. So shout outs to production for hitting me with the Senpai noticed him. When Senpai notices you, that's hilarious, dude. That is very funny. Alright, anyway. We're off to Game 2 of Grand Finals. Dabuz up 1, and of course, technically up a set, being that nobody has knocked this man into loser's bracket yet. WaDi's got a long road ahead of him.
And we're seeing the switch to Mewtwo. This is what we were predicting coming into this Grand Finals. And while we did see a bit of the switch up from yesterday's play moving into the Rob, and from that point, WaDi did stick Rob, it might be the switch to Mewtwo that's really going to help him make a difference, because as we earlier analyzed, Mewtwo has a lot of tools for eliminating Luma, for contesting airspace with Rosalina, and judging on how well WaDi's able to contest that space, controlling a lot of the stage can really go a long way as far as WaDi making things a lot more predictable for where Dabuz is going to move.
Yeah, especially when you get KOs as early as Mewtwo can on a character like this. Also, if I recall correctly, they did play at Smash Adelphia and it was Game 5. So, I just don't understand why WaDi didn't start off with Mewtwo, especially down the set. You might as well just bust your main out immediately. But, hey man, if he's kind of like expecting to lose, which isn't terribly unreasonable, but still not exactly the best attitude, then why not try Rob, I suppose? But here we go. This is the WaDi I wanted to see. Dash attack my shield? No. Hold this up smash, please. That is easily able to punish. And again, that early KO power from Mewtwo, something that Rob lacks.
Yeah, the glass cannon style of play out of Mewtwo really working out for WaDi now as he takes an early lead onto Dabuz, having a credit 98%, and if he manages the patient playstyle that he's exhibited throughout the evening, I feel like he can really extend this stock well, but he's going to have to be careful for that Luma Ents still managing to return to stage from down deep.
Yeah, both of these characters with pretty good recoveries, though no hitboxes on them either, so I wonder how we'll see them try to go for some offensive edge guards. Dabuz, I would assume, is going to go for a lot of, the angle down forward smash through the edge and also down airs, whereas WaDi might just opt for back air because of the huge arc it has and easily swatting Rosalina out of the launch star. That's what it's called. I was like, what's the name again? But yeah, even stocks, nearly even percent. WaDi getting scooped out of the air by Rosalina's up smash, though. Such a dangerous tool. Can't really jump in on this character at all, let alone easily.
And Dabuz trying to figure out ways just to further lock down WaDi's play. We see that as he has more room to maneuver himself, he gets a lot of freedom to charge up his Shadow Ball and then approach through his aerials. That's when WaDi really starts to threaten Dabuz and all of the space that he's currently controlling. When Dabuz forces things to the ledge and he's right on top of WaDi, we see none of these properties. We see that WaDi is sort of just cornered and at a loss of how to change the situation until Dabuz ends up knocking him around a little bit and they reset to neutral.
All right, and Dabuz just hanging out by the edge, knowing that just his existence there is so dangerous. Oh, you know what? I just saw him with his back turned while WaDi had the fully charged Shadow Ball. I think what he's going for there is trying to protect Luma from the Shadow Ball, even if Rosalina blocks it, right? Like, if he doesn't have the presence of mind or the reaction to go for the gravitational pull, Luma will still get hit if Rosa shields, but not if she's behind her.
Yeah, and this is a presence of mind that we see from Dabuz a lot in these projectile-oriented matches where he knows that Luma is a target, and a high-priority target at that. He needs to do what he can to protect him. And moving now into Game 3 to buzz up those 2 games, I feel like WaDi's going to have to recognize these minor decisions that Dabuz is making to reposition himself and Luma and try to move things forward from there, because if he can misposition one of them, it's going to throw out the game plan. We're seeing the switch back to Rob now.
Okay, I mean, he did just fine, in my opinion. I think the Mewtwo was doing really well, and he could potentially have done better, especially if he gave it another shot. But hey, again, I'm not here to criticize his character choices. I think he's doing well with both characters, honestly. Rob did put in some work. He got the first stock with both characters. So here we go. Game 3, final destination, but will it be the final destination of my man WaDi's bracket run, or is Dabuz going to take it home? And will Dabuz take it home in that case? Luma already out of the picture, taking so much residual damage from these projectiles. That is one advantage that Rob has that Mewtwo doesn't. He can just snipe Luma from afar, and, you know, it is only 50 damage that you have to deal. So it could take a while, but it's worth it, at least. In the
grand scheme of things, it's those little numbers here and forth that are really going to help the patient playstyle that WaDi wants to try and exhibit in this match. But Dabuz isn't having any of it. He is right on the cusp of victory, and he knows that he is deep in WaDi's head now, constantly forcing him off of characters. And while we've seen throughout the night that his Rob and his Mewtwo are certainly up to snuff to contest Dabuz, it's really not going to be showcased as well if we're constantly seeing the switch between them, and Dabuz really not presenting that dynamic of a situation to elicit these kind of changes.
One thing I want to point out on WaDi's end that I find very smart is that he's challenging a lot of these Luma hits with hitboxes, of course knowing that Luma is kind of like the Pikmin from Olimar. They're always going to clank. They don't hit clean like regular aerials right through your stuff. So he knows that neutral air on the way down is going to protect him from Luma's up air, for example. However, if he gets hit by the Halo from Rosalina, it will not clank out and it'll hit clean through. However, he's going to take that first stock once again. It's the third time in a row, but Dabuz has been able to stay so clutch and not crack under the pressure. So I don't know, are we going to see this one set, 3-game grand finals right now?
You know, it's certainly possible. We've seen time and time again that Dabuz is able to instantly take advantage of the high amount of damage that he builds up throughout his first stock. Isn't really dissuaded by the presence of the stock deficit, goes in for the kill, and then just sort of cleans things up, utilizing the little bits of damage that he has as a matter of rage boosting. However, WaDi looking to change the outcome of things a little bit here, already using some pretty unusual tools to secure his landings and continue his pressure onto Dabuz.
Oh man, and it was looking so close to WaDi actually taking a game there. He had a shot. If that up smash landed, it definitely would have been it. But I feel like he still had so many chances. He could have back aired or maybe just in some fashion kept the pressure up. Either way, Dabuz is going to land, and the awareness was incredible to see an opening for an up smash there while he was in the corner on the verge of death. 85% down and no Luma. Things are looking grim for Dabuz. I feel like if WaDi's going to take any game in this set, it's definitely going to be this one. But is the comeback real for Dabuz? Cheating death right there.
Yeah, it's looking like it, and he's got WaDi shook right now. You saw immediately after that whiffed 2 spot dodges without Dabuz even really trying at all to contest the space.
WaDi is almost desperate for a kill right now. You can really sense it.
Using laser beam at point blank, trying to use it as a getaway tool.
Oh no!
With the percentage.
No. Oh man, he barely got away from that.
Luma's looking to get away with murder right now. With all of this percentage that Dabuz has built up onto him, WaDi not able to clean up this stock. Dabuz is able to make such good use out of rage between how he's able to puppeteer Luma and how much Rosalina puts out from pressure. WaDi's able to return back to stage. None of these back airs coming, and the final hit of the up air still not
alive. No.
But no, even with good DI, that kill will be able to bring us into the 2-1 situation. WaDi clawing his way from the jaws of death.
Silencing the doubters, namely me.
But hey.
Of the Rob, yeah. Hey man, it's paying off for him, and he has gotten his first game with his secondary character here. So, okay, what? Is this man doing, like, in real life dash dances? Like, dash dancing on the character select screen?
I feel like this is a mental game of dash dancing. What he's doing is he's preventing Dabuz from getting a consistent download on these characters. All the while, he's the one who's truly collecting data on this set. He's seeing how Dabuz is not only just approaching his characters, but his overall playstyle. And WaDi has this time to be able to adapt constantly while throwing off Dabuz here and there a little, because with every little inch of a victory that WaDi gets, he can apply that to both his Mewtwo and his Rob.
Even though he's down 1-2, WaDi still is setting the tempo of the set here just with his character choices. However, it's looking like in terms of performance, Dabuz is in control yet again, over 50% up already, and I don't know, man. Dabuz, not the guy who usually drops a lead. Look at that. Oh, God. He actually took a stock with that. Luma's down air is so strong. Even Mewtwo can't air dodge against Dabuz's Rosa. This man's timing is too crispy.
He knows exactly what he needs to do to make the most out of this very threatening character. The amount of space that's controlled and just how much kill power, it goes to show that even without a projectile presence, Rosalina just constantly is threatening space across the board. Luma's just that good.
And the roll to the center, gonna get blown up. Okay, WaDi getting rid of Luma, but already has been lapped in percent. This is, especially by Dabuz standards, a very fast game already.
This is looking like a bit of a grim end to this grand finals as Dabuz is just smothering WaDi. But
ran right into that? Okay. Maybe biting off a little more than he could chew. I feel like he wanted an up smash of his own or something.
Both players looking a bit surprised by the outcome of that. The very edge of the hitbox killing off towards the late end. And now with WaDi 88% in counting, trying to find his landings, just barely able to ghost his way through Dabuz. This is still doable for him.
It definitely is. 88% though, dangerous territory for Mewtwo, so he has to play very carefully here. can't take too many risks, but also, you know, that's the tough part about being behind. You have to approach, but you can't take risks. It's kind of a catch-22.
Especially against Dabuz, who's certainly not afraid to force you to approach. Even when he himself is in disadvantage, he knows how to just sit back and wait for his opponent, find what makes them tick, and just pluck at their strings. He wants to constantly force things out of advantage, and it's that style of play that's going to allow Dabuz to take alpha tonight.
Forcing WaDi out of the bracket and out of Long Island as well.